This conference will now
Yes,
be
sir, please.
recorded.
All can see my screen, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So today we have to start the configuration specific to the initial planning and also configurations that is dependent on DS, detailed scheduling planning board. Yeah. Uh, so we will also be copying certain heuristics so that we don't disturb standard heuristics today. And we'll create, let me just write down what are the critical transactions or configurations we need to start our planning and scheduling. And like I've always said, other functions that we work on, say optimization or setup metrics, block planning. So for function specific configuration, we'll anyway do when we get there. And now today, the configurations that we do is only for planning and scheduling. So what is important for the global parameters? We have to go and check if the existing global parameters has the defaults or not, and then we'll need um, procedures, planning procedure. Planning procedures are already there. It's just that it's up to you whether you want to use a standard or copy. Our recommendation is to copy the planning procedure. Don't use the standards. And then we also need strategy profile. Strategy profile. In this one, we have one for PP. We'll need one for scheduling. Yeah, why? Because we have production planning. I want to use only infinite planning. If for detailed scheduling, I want to use strategy finite planning. And within DS, there are many different scheduling modes. We have find slot, which is classic finite scheduling, where it looks at the slots and places your orders within the slot. And then when you do interactive scheduling, where you decide where you want to produce, you can insert, you can append, yeah, you can close the gaps. There are many other things that we do in the DS board. So for all that, there should be a strategy profile created. So we'll need at least two. Okay, and within that we'll have block planning settings and other settings on classifications. But for most of the functions, we either do planning for all the. If you have optimization, you need to have a planning results first. So we need a strategy profile. So every uh, function within S4, we need a strategy, be it PP or TS. Okay, then we need to have a heuristic, and then we need to have a heuristic profile where we assign all these heuristics. We'll create planning board profile. This is only required if at all you want to change, say for example, the colors in the charts, or you want to change it, say for example, in one of the um, um, profile, you want to have resource chart, product chart, stock chart. There are around 7 different charts within the DS board. So in a profile, you can define which are the charts that should open up when you get into the planning board. So all those default parameters we can do. But this today will only uh, create one planning board profile or copy a standard profile. And then when we get to that the session, we have a session on planning board parameters. Yeah. So in that session, we'll have to go and change few things, and then we'll only create an optimization profile today. We'll not get into details of it. We'll do it during our optimization session. Then we need time profile. We need a work area, overall profile. We need propagation range. Okay. So if you have this many, at least we can start planning of our products with our own dependent configurations. We don't go and simply call something which we don't know what it is. So we'll review all these configs, and then we will call all this when we do planning and scheduling. Okay. So let's get back to the system, and straight away we go to SPR. Scroll down to get advanced planning. Here, advanced planning. So in advanced planning, there are some things that for the one-time activity, the moment you actually see, this is mandatory. If you want to use advanced planning in S4 HANA, this is the first thing that you have to do. Activate advanced planning and scheduling. Yeah, it needs to be always active. Okay, or else the when it comes to transferring of master data and transaction data integration, it will not work. And also you need to specify what are the settings. Okay, what exactly you want to integrate. So make sure everything is checked. These are all one-time activity only. Okay, and then this one, if you're using block planning, yeah, you must have CDP, or else in the product master you'll not get that CDP class. uh, yeah, or it is variant configuration or CDP. You know that if you have CDP, you can also go with the variant configuration. Yeah, so I recommend to have characteristic dependent planning as a default if you're using block planning. Okay, the optimization is not required. This actually for the system optimization, not our PPDS optimization. Okay, and then when you go to global settings, here there are a few things that we need to look at. The first thing is global parameters. We need to see very important. Yeah. So these global parameters and default values are referred if you have not maintained certain values in your master data. So I showed you the other day that when um, the planning version management, there are some parameters. Yeah. So I was telling you that if you don't maintain it here, if you don't maintain it in the product master, it looks at the version. If you don't maintain in the version, it looks at the global parameters. And also yesterday I was telling you that pegging. Yeah. So I told you that you don't actually need to go and activate fixed pegging at each and every product. You can just leave it blank, and at the global as a default value, you can say fixed pegging is active. Yeah, at a client level. Yeah, if you say product level, so probably you have to go. So like that, you can actually default values from here. Okay, and this one in the product master I showed you yesterday, the plan explosion field in the under PPDS tab, this indicator was there. Whether the PDS should be exploded or PPM should be exploded, whether IPPE should be exploded and all. If you have maintained it here as PDS, you don't need to maintain there. Okay, it refers to global parameters. And then what else we create? The output of planning is planned order or purchase requisition. So here you say always create transfer events default. Okay. Then um, conversion indicator, do not create transfer events. So what is this? Why do we need this? The default recommended setting is not this, what you see on the system. A recommended setting is don't transfer the events, which means um, we do in PPDS, we do planning, right? The output of planning is planned order, or it could be purchase requisition. That is this second one. The recommendation is always this: create transfer events from conversion indicator. The problem is, see, you have number range, right? So you define a number here and you define a number range for plant. Just imagine that there is one system. There are various, plants, lots of products, and you keep doing planning every day until you finalize the plan. So you go create, you execute planning, and then the output of that is planned orders. So the 500 planned orders created. Okay, then you do all those things will go to ECC system. Yeah, so it consumed 500 planned orders. Again, you do some changes in the requirement. Again, you execute planning one more 500. So before you actually publish the planned order to ECC, unnecessarily, you would have consumed a lot of number ranges. Okay, so the recommendation is you run planning every day, you delete planned orders, you keep on changing, but don't send everything to ECC for no reason because it consumes planned order number ranges in ECC. Okay, hence finalize your plan, convert that planned order to production order, and only that planned order, that production order only should be available in ECC. Why do I need to see a plan in ECC system? There is no need. Correct. So hence be careful. So these settings are here. So just to let you know how it works, you have even in S4 also you have, you have say for example, I'll write it as APO. So you generate the planned orders. Okay. Um, say for example, the existing number range in APO is like 1000. So here in ECC, the number range is only 500. It has, so you create 500 planned orders. So it will be 1000 to 1500 again. Yeah. So if you send this, again another 500 will consume here in ECC. Okay. So, and then how it works is the thing that you created a planned order here. The planned order number range is, the planned order number is say like this. It goes to ECC and then it could be something like uh, something like this. When you publish this to ECC, it goes here, takes this number range, then it comes back to APO with this number range. Okay, so both are aligned. So you don't see two different planned orders. So normally, the moment you publish to ECC, uh, it comes back. The old number in APO is deleted, and this number will be generated again. Even process order also. Say for example, now this is your uh, um, planned order. So when the moment you convert this planned order to production order, there is something called conversion indicator. Yeah, I'll show you how to do it. We have a session on that where we convert, we see mass conversion, how we do in S4. So the moment you check the conversion indicator, what it does, it goes to ECC, takes the production order number and comes back here, deletes this, and so you have an aligned transaction data, be it purchase order, be it production order. So the numbers are aligned. So the recommendation is always to use a conversion indicator. Yeah, not simply keep on generating planned orders when you're not sure. Most of the time it doesn't happen. And also when in our interactive session we will talk about different statuses of a planned order. Yeah, so then that gives you some insights of why we should not send the planned order. So you have many statuses in planned orders. You have unfirmed planned orders, firmed planned orders. Yeah, and then input. So this is output. Output firmed, and then you have input firm. Output firmed is anything that you change to the planned order, it could be dates, it could be quantity, immediately it becomes output firmed. Okay, and then if you if input firmed is, you cannot, in what is input? Input is my components. If you have an order which is input firmed, the components, nothing can be changed. Okay, when I go and do the planning again, so the bomb will not explode because the input. Why, when you explode the bomb, if there is any changes to the components, that needs to reflect in the planned order, correct? But in this case, the bomb will not explode because the input is firmed. And in the planned order, whenever you have an unfirmed planned order, when you run planning, the number, it will again generate planned order numbers. Here, output firmed and input firmed and all, system will not give you one more planned order because it will not change this because the planned order is firmed. A firm planned order is as good as a production order. Okay, in one of the sessions where I teach you surplus, how to manage surplus, how to manage first in first out, how to avoid delays. So there you'll see when an unfirmed planned order is there, what all you can do. When an output firm planned order is there, when I do PPDS planning, it will not change the dates, right? But there is a delay. If it doesn't change the dates, the system needs to create one more planned order to suit the requirement. Yeah, planned order is on 8th, requirement is on 7th. Because the planned order is firmed, it will not change the date. So hence PPTs will create one more planned order to meet the requirement. Yeah, all these things we'll see. So now I'm just trying to say, I'm just trying to show you that why this indicator is so important. Okay, so hence here let it stay because I also want to show you. Later we can change if you want.
Sanjeev, can I interrupt here just for a moment? Yeah. So this is only when we have the S4H connected to APU, right? So
Yes.
if we use only S4H, then also probably this
What is S4H?
HANA, I mean S4 HANA.
Oh, S4H. HANA.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, so what I was saying is that when we do our planning only in S4, that means you run the MRP only there and do the
Right.
PPDS. Then this transfer to R3, that in that
Not
case
required.
will be only or not required. There will be, it will be selected blank. Okay.
Correct. No, that's why in the Excel I put it as ECC and APO. Like you said, if HANA is connected to APO, same thing is applicable. But if it is same box, then it doesn't matter. There is only one, uh, planned order, right? So
Okay.
you
So
don't need to
then
set to
it will be
R3 at
blank.
all.
Okay.
We'll see that, no? That's
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
I've left it like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's not assume anything. Leave it like this. Let it
Right.
create transfer event. When we get the planned order output, let's see in RRP3 transaction, and also we'll see in MD04.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Right. And see, concurrent pegging, I told yesterday, I showed you that we can maintain the hours, you know, directly in Product Master. So this is once again global. And what all we do? We do interactive planning in the integrated DS board. We do planning run, right? R3 integration. And is there, if there is any BAPI that needs to be executed, and see here, whenever you change the quantity, right? See, how will system know that a planned order is there for 100 because there is a demand of 100? Then you change the demand. They change the demand from 100 to 120, and immediately that change should be reflected in your planned order. So there should be in the background, there should be some heuristic, right, which should go and run, or a algorithm which should go and run and change the quantity, which is that this one. Yeah, you can create your own, but if you don't have your own as a default heuristic, you have to define. Yeah, and here these are all strategy profiles. So yeah, strategy. So to now after this, I'll show you strategy. So there are two. I told you we need two strategies: one for planning, one for scheduling. Yeah, that's why you have for DS board you have 001. For planning you have 002. Okay, and then see when we had GATP, there are some fields that we see here. Yeah, so multi-level ATP check. So in S4 HANA, you don't see all those. Yeah, because it's still not supported. Okay, and then what else? Propagation range we create. Propagation range is nothing but a range of. It's not a number. A range of materials and a range of machines that are relevant for scheduling and planning. Yeah. So think that you have in a plant there are 550 products, and you want to plan and schedule only for 30 products, not all the 50. When I run at a plant level, not all 50 should be planned, even though it has demand. Only 30 are relevant for planning. 20 you just want it to be there. So what you do is we create a propagation range and we put only those 30 materials there. And when you run at a plant level, it'll plan only for 30, not for all the 50. So today we anyway create that, not a problem. Display earliest latest operation dates. It's just a this is when you visualize the order. If you want to see the earliest and latest, you can have it. Let us not get here. Let it stay unchecked, and then we'll do this and see the difference. Yeah, and also you guys remember yesterday I had told you that conversion indicator, conversion rule, the missing parts list in the product master I showed you. When you convert planned order to production order, the missing parts list will pop up. And if you don't want that, you can say SAP 999, right? No check. So instead of doing it every product, you can actually leave that field blank there and do it here. So for every product, it will ignore missing parts when you convert planned order to production order. Okay, basically it doesn't do any check when you convert. That's conversion rule. And ADP categories, what are all the default categories that it looks at? Okay, so categories is not only for SNP. So and as a default, okay. So what are the categories? If it's a planned order, if it's a stock transfer order, what it is? Stock transfer requisition, what is the category? Unless you want different category, uh, you know, you have to come and put it here. You create a category. If you want, say, planned order, okay, I told you unfirmed, confirmed, and all these things. If everything has a different category, so like that, those fields which are open, you have the luxury of coming and changing. Normally we don't do that. In SNP we do a lot, but the PPDS I don't see any need to actually change the category. In SNP we need, because certain things that we don't want to consider for SNP planning. Say for example, stocks are there unrestricted, but in unrestricted there could be um, different age of the product. One is like um, uh, if the shelf life is 10 days, so for 7 days with something which has 7 days shelf life will be in one storage location. Something which has only 3 days shelf life will be in another storage location, because it's close to expiry. So in SNP we don't want to consider stocks which are close to expiry, like 3 days. Uh, we don't want. So hence I create uh, a category, even though it's unrestricted. I say if it is in this storage location, then this stock is not the regular CC category, it's a ZC category kind of thing. So in SNP planning book, we can say consider only CC, not ZC. Okay, so all these things we can do when you want to do some solutioning. Yeah, so in that case, you may need to create new categories, or else you don't need to create. SAP has all the categories. Okay, this is not required. Stage, no, this one we need. Strategy profile. Okay, so let me copy SAP 1, SAP 002, and then we'll see the details. I will say copy all. So it copied all the parameters within the strategy. So we have one strategy for standard DS strategy profile, standard PP strategy profile. It's just a description. If you go inside, both are same. Okay, so let me save this first. Okay, see, I go to DS and say strategies. The screen opens up, and I go to FSCP 002. The same thing opens up. Okay, so there is no change. It's just what we set up within that. Save it. And I was saying, which is DS. This is DS. So let us go here. Go to strategy. Okay. If you want any offset in scheduling, we can define the number of dates. So what is important? You see how many things are there in this. Very complicated, no? Yeah, in my DS session, I'll show you all this. And, we'll see almost most of the functions here. But let's during my DS session, I'll not come and teach you. I'll only keep on selecting this and showing you what is the output. So let's understand what is all this. Current modes and select any mode. Yeah. So this also we do in our DS session. I told you yesterday in the PDS, I showed you mode. Mode A is what we saw there. And this is applicable when any product is produced on two machines. Okay. And I also explained in one of the sessions where you don't need two PDSs if you have two machines. You can manage to have one PDS and you can link another machine using classification. So when you do that, in the PDS, it creates one more machine with a mode. It could be A, B, C, D. You can go on. I think you can go on up to 15 different modes. Okay, now you either you're planning or you're scheduling. So when you plan or schedule, this current mode retain is it always plans on the first mission, which is your priority. It plans. If you say select any, it will go and see. Think that I have 5 missions where a product is produced. Okay. So when you say select any mode, it will go and check the first mode A. If it is overloaded or if there is no capacity, it goes to B. If B also doesn't have capacity, it goes to C. So it will keep on going. Okay. So that's the reason you should not just say select any mode and just leave it as it is, because it will keep on going. But you may have 5 missions, but you don't want your orders to be scheduled on the fourth one. That is mode D. So you want to restrict it only for 3. Sometimes, not always. Sometimes you want to restrict it at 2 missions. Sometimes you want to restrict it at 3 missions. If you have that requirement, here it says lowest mode priority. Yeah. So you can say out of 5 missions, go and the highest priority is A, B, and C. So it cannot go beyond 3 missions. Yeah. Sometimes you want to go with fourth mission also, then you have to just go and change. So if you do this, system will plan and system will schedule your orders wherever there is capacity out of 5 missions. You don't have to take a call. Most of the planners, what they do, they leave it as retain so that everything is planned on the first mission and they decide where it has to be produced. You can drag and drop orders. Okay. Even in my last batch, I taught classification in APO, not in S4, but that data is wiped off now. It's not there. So it's a good opportunity for us to see if classification works in S4 HANA. Okay. If it doesn't work, we'll have to. Why I'm saying whether it works or not is because of the system that we have. Yeah. So classification, block planning, and all, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm working towards that. Anything which doesn't work, I'll make it work in APU and show you how all these things work. Retain these things. I think it works in S4. So let's see. All right. Scheduling sequence. So sequence of scheduling. Um, I gave the same example yesterday where I have on a machine 5 different products or 10 different products are produced. The demand is on the same day. Okay, in what sequence it has to schedule, because you've not defined any product priority. There's absolutely nothing. But you need to tell the system a sequence, or else you get random schedule. Okay, so hence what we do, we can define a sequence. Okay, so not everything can be used. Okay, say ATP group. By ATP group, you cannot sequence it. System is, they've given so many things here, but what we should do is in our session. See here, you saw that free attributes, right? Here, a free attribute. See, this is a copy of APO. We don't even have a free attribute now because that free is gone. We don't have it, but still those fields are still here. Okay, so what we'll give is, see, you can sequence based on order priority, which can be defined in uh, product master. So what I do in my, to show sequencing, we always go to setup group, and setup group itself is enough, but we'll take both setup group and setup key. Based on setup group and setup key, I want it to be sequenced. Yeah. So for the product A has a setup group, product B has a different setup group. So based on setup group, I will sequence. Okay. It could be ascending. Let's leave it as ascending, and we can change it to descending in the DS board interactive. Okay. Sequence is there. Okay. Now we have 3 different desired date. Okay. And also we have, we'll learn about these for we go to Excel. All these radio buttons we have to go back to Excel. Um, so desired date, earliest, and specified. Okay, so desired date is, think that this is current day. I'm sorry guys, current day, not desired. The desired date is the, all these are desired when you want to schedule. Okay, so you have, this is our current day. This is where we are, for example. Okay, and think that I have orders here. So everywhere there are orders. Okay, when you select this order and when you click on reschedule, and the desired date is current date. Okay, current date, if there is nothing, if there is space available, system will put this directly here. It will schedule like this. It will take all the orders on current day. From current day, it will do forward scheduling or backward scheduling, whatever. Okay, that is straightforward current day. But think that we have an order here. Current day already system is full, and we have orders. Okay, now I want to schedule this order. Current day I cannot. Okay, I have option here and here, but I don't know where exactly. Okay, I'll say schedule as early as possible. If you say earliest, okay, it will see where I have slot. I have slot here. This could be the earliest it can schedule. Okay, so that is earliest, but I want this to be scheduled sometime here at that particular time. The specified date is when you have, see, this current date is random. Any current day, that is today, Wherever at any time that I have capacity, it will schedule. Earliest is whenever earliest it can do, it will do. You have no control over date and time. You have absolutely no control. But if you want to schedule something, forward scheduling on Monday at 8 o'clock in the morning, then specified. You just select this and you say specify date, a new pop-up will come. There you go and mention uh, Monday on 17th February, 9:30 in the morning. I want this order to start. Okay. Then it'll go and wherever it is, it'll go and schedule. Okay. Then you have, we'll see all this. Huh? It's not that I'm showing in Excel. All these are three different types we'll see in the DS board in our DS session. Okay. Uh, so you have, uh, I told you this is current day. Okay. You have orders like this. And this could be say 17th, 18th, 19th, 20, 21, 22nd. Okay. And this is 16th. Forward scheduling is you tell from today or from tomorrow. Forward is not from current time. Forward is a date and time from where your forwards it'll go. It'll go like this in forward direction. Backward direction is you tell the system, say for example, I'll tell the system I want to do backward scheduling from 23rd. Yeah. So in that case, it'll from 23rd, start of 23rd, it'll come backwards and it'll say you finish on 18th. You have to start on 18th. Sorry. Yeah, backward scheduling. So um in PPDS, we have this backward plus reverse. Okay. What is backward plus reverse? So backward becomes forward. In this example, I want think that this is 100 quantity. Okay. So I have an order which is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of 800 quantity. Per day it's 100. Okay. So you need 8 days. And you say do backward scheduling from 22nd. So what it'll do? It'll try to do this. Yeah, come backward 300, 400, 500, 600, 700. Okay, then it doesn't go backwards. It will not go backwards. Okay, so then, okay, now it has gone backwards where it's not realistic. Then reverse direction it will go. It will go from here. It says if you want 22nd is not possible. If you start on, if the earliest that you will finish is 23rd. Okay, you can give any date. You can give 19th. That is, I'm talking about specified date here. When I do scheduling, I use specified date. I'll say backward. If the quantities are less, yes, it'll do. When the quantities are high and the dates are less, it'll come backwards and go forwards. Okay. Same thing is applicable for forward scheduling also. Forward scheduling, forward and backwards, it's there. So that also you define a date. Start from 18th. My requirement is 24th. 24th, I have a requirement. Okay. And I'll tell in the specified date, forward scheduling from 19th. So it'll go forward. It cannot meet 24th. Okay, then it says to meet the requirement of 24th, you have to start on 16th. So whether you do forward scheduling by reverse, so the goal is that to go and see the requirement and then change the direction. So hence you have four directions. If I go back, all these are directions. Yeah, forwards, backwards, backwards plus reverse, forward with reverse. Okay, we'll see. Very interesting. So all these things will work very well in our session. We'll build a scenario in such a way that we one scenario, all those things can be simulated. Okay, and then there are modes in scheduling. Okay, see, find slot, insert, squeeze in, append, infinite scheduling, insert. I'll be showing you one, two, all the six. Okay, this is for a bucket capacity. Okay, so if you have a bucket capacity, then we use this, but we'll be using time continuous. So all these things, infinite sequencing, everything will be seeing. It's if I get back to my Excel, it's nothing, say for example, there is a open slot here, there is a open slot here, there is an open slot here. So when you say find slot, a new order is there. What it will do, it will go and look for a slot in the forward direction from 16th, backward direction. If you say backward 23rd, it will go and find a slot. Okay, or you say earliest, specified, current date. It'll current date will see there is no slot available. Then you say earliest date. It'll say, oh, okay, there is find slot. It will go and schedule. Okay, think that I want to insert something. An order I want to insert. So think that there are some gaps. You can select this, yeah, and you can insert wherever you want. Okay, and then you can say insert and close gaps. Okay, so what is that? So there is a gap here. Okay, there is a gap here. Wherever you have gaps, what insert and close gaps is nothing but inserting this one here, and then system will close all the gaps so that there is no gap on the all the orders so that you finalize, you send it to the process team, schedule, insert, wherever there is open slot, fill all the gaps so that your capacity is full, and then you send it to your process team for production. Okay, so the very good guys who I know in capacity planning, you have some functions in ECC to this extent. um, I've not seen, but here you have flexibility to do all this, and that's why PPDS or advanced planning is, you call it a very niche skill. You don't get people who knows all this. Yeah, think about someone who is expert in all this, what value add he can be in any implementation or even in the organization. A production planner who knows all this effectively, yeah, he only increases the production. Okay, so adds a lot of value. uh, but that's the problem, we don't get people who knows everything, right? Someone says setup matrix doesn't work. See, in these examples that I'm giving you, just imagine that you're utilizing your capacity to the maximum. On top of that, you are reducing the setup time, that is by introducing setup matrix. So less wastage of capacity and more production. Yeah, and that is what is expected out of a production planner. And that is what expected by a PPDS consultant. Okay, um, so yeah, so you'll have to be thorough with all this dates, scheduling modes, and these four. And think about a situation where uh, evening, your working hours is 8 to 5 o'clock, say for example, and then you have a lot of demand, and you need to finish at 5 o'clock, and you also know that most of the orders are almost done. You may need 1 hour or 2 hours or to close those orders so that next day morning you come fresh and start production of new products. It's not that you come next day morning and start doing the same thing, but you don't know how long each order takes. Yeah. So if this think that this is where your shift ends. Yeah, and all these are non-working time. Yeah, non-working time. So in DS board, whenever it's a non-working time, it shows in kind of a like this in DS board. Gray is what is called a non-working time um, in the DS board. Okay, now the planner wants to know for this machine, RES1, if I um, if I do overtime today, if I give overtime to the operator today, and with the quantities that I still have. Um, so it will be like this. Next day morning you come and you start production, right? It will be something like this. There'll be so many orders. This is just a high level in Excel I'm showing you. But why it's like this is because there is a non-working time. But he wants to know that um, if I give overtime, how many hours overtime I have to give. Okay, immediately what it'll do, it'll extend this. This order is extended till here. Yeah. So in the non-working time, it'll schedule. Normally in PPDS, it doesn't schedule in non-working time. So in this case, it'll schedule in the non-working time, and this will be deleted. Then the planner knows, okay, I have to give 3 hours of overtime, for example. It's not one mission. You can do one click of a button, all the missions schedule in non-working time. Okay, all the orders will be pulled backwards, and it'll show you if you do scheduling in the non-working time, how many hours additional you'll have to work. And this is widely used. You see implementations, a lot of planners use this function to determine the hours required. That is this. Okay, and then this is not required. Okay, validity period of the orders, it should be always considered. Okay, so from where does validity comes? The validity comes from the production version, right? So in production version, I say valid from valid to. Today I have an order, okay, but day after tomorrow, my validity is finishing. But when you try to schedule today's order for next week after 4 or 5 days, it should not schedule. It should say that uh, on Thursday, the production version date has changed. Okay, this is no longer valid. It should throw a message. Okay, so it's a best practice to have it consider. Sometimes you say don't care about it, and then it doesn't. Okay, it will still go and schedule. And here you have priority, which I just showed you. This lowest rest net, this for resource network. Okay, that's a functionality. And block planning, it should take into account. Okay, so it has to be always. When I say when we do block planning, when we go to DS board, it needs to consider the scheduling should happen for the blocks. Yeah, and scheduling of block limits as specified in the scheduling to block limits is what? Scheduling to block limits is you have two blocks, and one block there is some capacity, available capacity, and the second block you have less capacity, more orders. So we are actually system, there is a heuristic, it will go and look at the available capacity within the block, and it will change the limit of the block. Okay, so for that to work, recently I got a call from someone where this told me that one of the heuristic is not working. This was a setting that I told them to check, and they said, yeah, it was that straightforward. Yeah, they were saying that when we run that schedule limit block planning heuristic, it is not doing anything. Yeah, so make sure that you should say take into account. Okay, so this is one good thing. And if there is any error in scheduling, what it should do? Say when I schedule, there could be some issues related to some scheduling parameters or some master data. What should the system do? You say, forget about scheduling. You do infinite scheduling. Whatever was there before, let it stay as it is. Scheduling infinitely if necessary. Yeah. So here for this one, I'll keep it as backwards to start with. Finiteness, I told you, right? We'll talk about this now. Okay. Here, finiteness level. Personally, forget about this. Don't use this at all. It's unnecessarily adding complication. The, just to know what it is, you can define levels in finiteness. You'll have 0, you'll have 999. Okay. See here, 0 and 999. Say, for example, 0 is finite. This is restricted finite resource. Means if the system sees 9999, system will not do finite scheduling. Okay, if it is 000, it will do finite scheduling. Okay, now I'm leaving it as 9999 restricted finite resource. No, absolutely no problem. Why? Because in the resource master, you need to define what is finite for you. In the resource master, if I have it as 9999, yeah, and then here it is a 9 restrict, so it will not do finite scheduling. You have two things. One is your PP strategy profile, FSAP002, and then you have FSAP001. What some people will do is, in one strategy, they'll say don't do finite scheduling. In the other strategy, they'll say do finite scheduling. So to have different flexibility on the way the resource is scheduled, you can use the level of finiteness. Okay, so if best practice is don't have this at all. As long as it's not mandatory, just leave it blank. Okay, so that every time you use DS board, and when you call this DS strategy profile, every time it will be a finite plan or a finite schedule. Okay, so this is for dependent objects. Okay, schedule dependent objects infinitely. Anything which is a dependent object, schedule it infinitely. Or you say find slot. Okay, that also again for the dependent objects. Now, very important. Order internal relationship, cross order. What is order internal relationship? In an order, you have three operations. Okay, you have defined finish start relationship, start finish relationship, finish relationship, start relationship, and all this. Where do you define? You define it in the operations. Okay, so when I go and move my first operation to next day, and the second operation should also move, third operation should also move, right? Then you have to say always consider order internal relationship. Then here it say do not consider. Okay, it's up to you whether you want to say always consider or not. I would leave it as do not consider because cross order is between two different orders. I have a FG, I have a SFG. Okay, order internal is within the order. This is order relationship. FG to SFG, SFG to another level. If there is any relationship, then I would rather say do not consider. Why? Because I'll do scheduling at finished goods or I do scheduling at semi-finished goods. It's up to me. And later I'll run bottom-up heuristic or top-down heuristic, and I'll adjust the semi-finished goods order. Okay, so this can stay as do not consider. I would say if you use fixed pegging, then you should say always consider. Fixed pegging, that is your finished goods to semi-finished goods. Yeah, compact scheduling. What is compact scheduling? Compact scheduling is nothing but you have inter-operation times, queue time, wait time, move time, and all this. So in all these times, you have minimum, you have maximum. So whenever you do scheduling, and if the compact scheduling is on, it will consider your minimum times, not the maximum times. So that is called compact scheduling. Okay, so consider maximum intervals, use planning ruler minimum intervals. Okay, all these things, consider time buffer. All these things are there in the resource master. Okay, here you may ask why do you need everything here when it's already there. Okay, this is if you have not maintained in the product master, you can actually for that particular order you can um, define some buffer time and ask the scheduling to consider the buffer. Okay, and fixed pegging, you can say always consider. Dynamic pegging, consider within the propagation range. Yeah, you can leave all this like this. Let it stay, and then we can always. Yeah, so in pegging, consider time buffer. Retain current modes. See here, current modes here. This select any mode, right? So if you select the current modes as retain, it should be checked this also. Both has dependency. Retain current mode should be checked. If you say select any mode, then this should go away. This should not be there. Okay. So this we'll learn anyway. Separately we'll learn classification. So for now I'll leave it as it. So we say we have a strategy profile which we'll be using, and I'll not uh, do anything about PP. That is this one. Why? Because I want my production planning to be infinite. So let it do infinite scheduling in the planning, and then uh, in the scheduling strategy, we'll say find slot. See, same thing. Like I said, nothing is different. Okay.
I think on the scheduling strategy, you forgot to put that checkbox back.
Which checkbox?
The checkbox that you were mentioning at the bottom,
Retain.
SAP2. Yeah, that
Okay.
mode.
No
Sorry.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for that. But it's okay because in our planning, that will not impact. In our classification session, we'll come and anyway change that. Okay. For our initial planning, where we are dealing with only one resource, whether that indicator is on or off, it doesn't matter to us. It only matters when we have more than one machine. Okay. Global.
Sure.
I told you right, finiteness level. If you want, you can create your own 0, 0, 0, 0, 500, whatever you can create and define a level. So SAP was already given two, which is enough. One is for finite, one is for infinite. You don't need one. Okay. Master data, there is no configuration. Yeah. So say calendar. What will happen is, see, maintain factory calendar. This is not there in S4 HANA. Yeah. We go to SCAL transaction and do all those. Here they've given this. This is nothing but the straightforward calendar that we created. So master data, there is nothing which needs to be created. Uh, if there is any enhancements required, you may need this, or else you don't need. And like I said, if you check APO, we don't have this many. But what is missing here is uh, the free attributes that was there in APO, that is missing in this. Alert monitor we already created, we don't need. This is important. Planning procedures. See, there are normally APO has 5 procedures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But here 3 is gone because there is no sales order integration. 5 is gone because there is no GATP. Okay, so there are only 3. So we have manual with check, manual without check, planning in, planning run. Okay. If you, and there is a heuristic also linked to it. Okay, SAP PP002 is the heuristic that needs to be used. So what is this? Do not create fixed pegging is there. Okay. So let's understand what this is. If you select anything, there is events. Say for example, I select this one. So how this should react whenever there are different events? What are those events? These are the number of events that can happen during the day. Yeah. See, creating or changing a production order. If someone creates a production order, what is that it should do? If someone changes the production order, what they should do? Yeah. If they create a planned order, what? If a change in in-house production order. See, someone creates a sales order. Someone changes the product master. Oh, there's so many settings given here. What system should do? Whether it should create an entry only or it should plan immediately. If you want the system to plan immediately, you should just start product heuristic immediately, so that if someone changes the product master, immediately in the background planning should run. Okay, so that it will the output of that plan will consider the parameters that were changed in the master data. Okay, so this is nothing, think about, you have uh, planning weekly, but during the week, whatever changes happens, it could be changes to your orders, that is your transaction data, or it could be changes to your um, master data. Whether you just ignore it and consider it next week planning, or you want that to be reflected in your current week's plan, then you decide whether what kind of action that needs to be taken. Where reuse, see, reuse mode. Yesterday we saw this one, use suitable receipt element, or when a change happens, I'm telling that start product heuristic immediately. So when you plan what it should do, whatever the existing receipts should be used, reused, or delete unfixed receipts and create new ones, or re-explode plan means it will go and explode the bomb once again, or delete unfixed receipts, explode fixed receipts again. See, I told you, right, when the receipt is fixed, normally it doesn't do anything, it leave as it is. But if you want that to be unfixed to be deleted and also explode the fixed receipts, there are many options given. Okay, if it is scheduled, in our DS session, you'll know what is deallocated and all these things. What should be the status of the order which is already scheduled? Okay. Now, I spoke about procedures. So, what are these three? Let's talk about it. Okay. So, I think in our planning session, I'll show you all this 1, 2, and 4. Okay, what the output is. But to understand what it is, we'll have to get back to Excel. Yeah. So one is planning, sorry, manual with check. Two is manual without check. Four is planning in planning. Okay. So this one does multi-level planning. We use for planning in planning run. Okay. Manual with check. We use MRP 1 heuristic. This will only, okay, sorry, MRP2. You may ask me what is the difference. MRP1 uses single level planning. This does single level planning. Yeah, straightforward. Manual. That's why you default in the product master. You always see two. Manual without check. It will go look at the demand. Just create orders. Straightforward. This one does single level planning and next level check. So which becomes a multi-level. So the check happens multi-level, but output is for single level. So what does it mean? So say for the example, I have a FG of 400 and in SFG I have 0 or nothing. Yeah, there is nothing. So what I'll do, when you run, if you have given a manual with check, and you have a forecast of 400, this planned order will be created only if there is coverage. Coverage is there should be stock of 400, or there should be a planned order of minimum 400. If this is there, then this order is created. Yeah. So it'll only check one level below. Don't think it'll check all. That is multi-level GATP. That is different. In this heuristic, it checks only one level below, and then it creates this order. If you're using this level for a multi-level for a manual with check, it will look at this level. Think that the third level, the first and second level is a raw material. It will see if there's a coverage of 400, it can plan here. So it's just that, just to make sure that a plan order is created only if there is coverage. Where you think about where this can be used, maybe I would say consumption based planning, yeah, where without certain things production cannot happen. Say for example, I want to do some assembly. So what is required? Oil is mandatory. That waste what we that is there are few things which are mandatory, without which I cannot produce. So just to make sure that I have always that coverage, yeah. So for those header products, you have to maintain manual checks so that an output is given only if there is availability. Hence, whenever you use manual with check concept or a procedure at this level, I recommend that you use reorder point planning. So you have to make sure always this level is, that minimum stock is always there. That minimum stock is the level at which you reorder, and make sure that your tank is full or your capacity is full. Okay, because without that you cannot start production of your finished goods. In this, whenever you have this requirement, I'll say at this level use reorder point planning, at this level use manual with check. Okay, so that is in the procedure, that is in the planning procedure. Okay, category groups, I was talking about category groups, right? See, there is nothing. Yeah, if you want you can create, you don't need in PPDS. Like I said, it's always in SNP. Yeah, and check mode and all is not for us. Check mode is nothing but in the product master we have check mode. If you have ATP tab, we, here we don't worry about ATP tab. So check mode is a combination of your requirement class. Yeah, if Nirmal is there, he's a GATP expert. So requirement class and your business event makes a check mode. Absolutely not for us at all. Okay, MRP planning. That is one thing I want to show here. Maintain heuristics, right? See here, don't get confused. There are multiple things, but the thing is, see here you have maintain heuristics. Okay, here also you have maintain heuristics. Here also there are things that are in multiple places. So when I go to maintain heuristics, I go always under heuristic. Here I won't go. Okay, and yesterday we spoke about planning groups in the product master. I was telling you that there are two levels. At a group level you want to plan, or at a planner level you want to plan. A group may have multiple planners. You have a finished goods planner, you have a semi-finished goods planner, you have a raw material planner. Okay, you have a planner for cheese, you have a planner for in cheese itself. There are cheese could be a group. There are 4 types of cheese, so every type will have a different planner. So if you want to plan at a planning group level, you can create some planning groups. That's configuration. Or at a planner level you want to do, yeah, you don't need to create a planning group. So in the planning run transaction, you will see that they give two options: planner and planning group. If you go to the receipts view, if you go to requirement view, you go to alerts view, everywhere you can see the output based on planner or based on planning group, both. Okay, so this is optional. If you want, you can create. Before maintain heuristics, planning package, I'll not create anything because I'll show you this in our product interchangeability session. It creates a planning package by itself. Okay, planning package is a if you want to group certain products. Okay, say for example, there are 10 products which needs to be planned together always. Okay, you cannot go and run planning for one product. If you plan for all. So we create a package and assign it in the product master. So every time you plan, all the materials which has that planning package gets planned together. Okay. It's a need base. Okay, this has got nothing to do with planning, straightforward planning. Okay, this is not required. This is required. Yeah. See, you have some. I told you. Um, these are all my last batch students who have created so many. Is Sriram there? Sriram? I think he has left anyway. Yeah, wanted Sriram to do some cleanup activities. Especially this guy. This guy has actually messed up the system. Yesterday, I spent a lot of time clearing heuristics and all those things. I'll give this activity to Sriram anyway. Right. So, what is propagation range? Propagation range is the selection of resources and selection of products that will be applicable for planning and scheduling. Okay. Now, I would to start with, I'll take SAP all. Okay. So this is what you should also do, unless you have a scenario which I just told you. Yeah. Um, what is that? Where I have 50 products, only 30 products are relevant for planning. I have 50 resources, only 30 are relevant for scheduling. When you have that kind of scenario, it makes a lot of sense to define. See here, if you go to F, okay, see this indicator, yeah, from work area. Yeah, it's good not to check this. I told everyone not to check this. We'll come to know when we get to work area what is this. Leave it without checking. If you go to resource selection, you can actually say resource location, okay, and if you want, yeah, finite scheduling. If you want planner, you can call, okay, finite scheduling, yes, okay, location 0003. Yeah, resource. You can put your resource, but think that tomorrow you go and the naming the resource here is very, very risky. Okay, never name the resource here. You can say, you can give something like FWC star. Okay, if you look at SAP all, they've given star like this. This is very safe, so that any resource that you add tomorrow becomes applicable the resource. Okay, and if you say product selection, see they've given star. If you want more fields, more filters, you can say, I want planning group also. I want production planner, location, everything. Yeah, restriction of all this. If you say okay, so here you can all products in location 0003. And if you have any production planner, we can give that. Yeah. So just restricting what is relevant for planning and scheduling. That's all. Nothing more than this. From where now I'll be creating a work area. Work area is nothing but an area where a work is performed. In that area, when the work is performed, what do you need? I need products and machines, right? So here it is saying, if you check this, it will take from our work area, whatever my selection is, my machines and products, it will take from there, or else you can define it here only. So that's all. So you don't have to do it. If you have restricted selections here, never make it work area, because work area you may have different materials and resources. Okay. Work area is used to go and see only, but propagation range is relevant for planning and scheduling. So hence don't check this. Okay. Now maintain heuristics. Yeah, I'll rather maintain it here. See, there are so many heuristics. Quickly will I need remove backlog. I need a schedule sequence. I don't need, because in the DS we I can call this directly. Just want to have reschedule blocks. Yes, adjust and reschedule block limits you want. Enhanced block maintenance, no. Block called interactively. If you do interactive planning, we can do this. Stable forward scheduling heuristic. Don't get overwhelmed looking at the number of heuristics. Looks very complex. We'll be going and actually running all those heuristics. So stable forward scheduling I want. This I don't need. This I need. We don't actually do length-based heuristics here. Multi-level order related we want. Multi-related order we want. MRP1. I just told you, right? MRP1 and MRP2. MRP1 I need. The strange thing is in S4, they've not given MRP2 at all. That is the strange thing that I saw. Okay, so this is for manual with check. So for manual without check, we need to use MRP 2 heuristic, but it's not there at all. Let's see what best we can do. No. See, they've given heuristics for few things which you don't need. You can directly call from the DS board. You don't need to include all this. Change order manually. You don't need a heuristic. I need this one. I need this one. This one. This only to start with. Then we'll come here again. Huh? Reorder point planning we want. This too we don't need because we called a multi-level order related heuristic, right? With inside that, these two will be there anyway. So we don't delete fixed pegging relationship we need. Um, and fixed pegging relationship, continuous input output. We need it later, not now. This we need later, not now. Supersession chains. When we go to that stage algorithm, we need quota heuristics. We need. Okay, all this we copy. And see, now I'll not do any changes. Okay, so when we use this heuristics, I'll in the interactively I change whatever I need to change, and then we will adopt. Then this is rescheduling blocks, just creating see stable forward scheduling. This is very widely used heuristic, stable forward scheduling. And this is, I told you that we have planning time fence. So this heuristic works like a interactive uh, fencing. Okay, so in planning time fence, it's a constant value that is defined in the product master, whereas changing fixing interval is dynamic. Okay, so today I want 3 days fence, tomorrow I want 4 days, and day after tomorrow I want only one day. If you have requirements like that, this will work. Yeah, multi-layer autumn, very important, this one.
So you will change the parameters later on, or
If required.
okay.
See, I was telling you that top-down heuristic will um, inherit a different heuristic, right? It's already there.
No, the reason I asked is because you are renaming it to to your own heuristic names. Because if you
Yeah.
don't change the parameters, then we can run this heuristic directly, right? Without changing the names, or
No, we change. Not every heuristic will change.
okay,
Yeah. So it's good to have our own, not to disturb any standards.
okay.
Say, for example, product planning according to low-level code, we say product heuristic, and we may go and use a different heuristic also. So hence, let's not use the thing is what happens. Why I don't touch standard. You guys also please don't change. Whenever you change or not in your heuristic, it's up to you. But it's good to have your own, because if you go and change the standard, we'll not have any reference tomorrow. Think that heuristic is not working. Okay, we don't know what was changed. At least we have a reference to all the standard heuristics. Yeah, hence you all, if you want to, when you're practicing, don't use standard at all. Have your own set of heuristics and do changes there if you want. See, in this I'll be changing. Yeah, in our heuristic I'll be changing all this when I run. So hence, yeah, here also I'll be changing. So most of the heuristic we change when we execute. Reorder point also we change, right? Because we define some values. We'll say fill to maximum stock level. Now one day I'll change.
Yeah.
Uh,
And is there any
expect
difference
messages.
between the MRP heuristic and the heuristic that you're selecting here? Because you didn't select the MRP heuristics, right?
I selected MRP heuristic.
No,
MRP
in the
001.
yeah. But here, I mean, there was the two menus, right? One was the MRP. Within MRP, there was this heuristic, and then you selected heuristic from the heuristic menu.
No,
In the
I only changed it back to product heuristic. Yeah. So let it stay as you're talking about this one, right? Product planning, MRP.
no. I was talking about when you initially selected, the main menu. So there, instead of, you said that you'll not use the MRP heuristic, instead you'll use the heuristic below the heuristic menu, right? When you initially selected the heuristics. If you go back to the main menu, then
This is the main screen of heuristics. Which heuristic you're talking about?
now if you go back where you selected the heuristics.
This one?
So yeah, so here you selected the maintain heuristics from the heuristics, right? Below from
Yes.
heuristics. So there is also this
Yeah.
heuristics from MRP planning run.
No, same. See, if I go here, you'll still
Okay.
see the same thing that I created now. F.
Oh,
So
okay.
what I
The
was
same.
telling you is the same thing is part of multiple objects. So everything is same. So you don't have to create. If you create it here, this and this both are same. Was what I
Okay.
was telling. Okay. So yeah, I go here, same. There is one heuristic which we may need to add. We need one heuristic. That algorithm is order change organize. It's called split heuristic. So what it does, it will split your planned orders into multiple orders. One planned order can be split into many based on quantity and also based on time. Also, you can split. Say, for example, my order is starts at 8 o'clock and ends at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I want to split it 1 o'clock. Yeah, so there'll be two planned orders, 8 to 1 and 1 to 3. So for that, there is reduce plan sequence. Here it is, order split. Yeah, so I'll say F. Okay, if you want to give any icon, you can just, there are so many standard icons. So you can define if this is used somewhere, yes, or else you can just define an icon in the DS board, just click that. Okay, so you don't need to go and call it. Click that icon, it'll and if you want to give any text to that button, you can give. See, heuristic is that's all. I don't think it's just an algorithm. So what it does is a function module. You say, for example, I told you splitting planned order. Client comes and gives you a requirement where he says, when there is a planned order, I want it to be divided by 4. Yeah, one planned order I create. Later, I want 4 planned orders based on time, something. So, what needs to happen? It needs to go to the planned order table. It needs to read the planned order number, and then it has to see what time is start time, end time. It needs to divide by 4. So, all this logic Abapar will give, and he'll write that program, and he'll call, he'll name it, something like this. And whenever you do that, that will show up here. Okay, that will show up here, and you just name whatever you want to name, and this is how we create heuristics. No big deal. Yeah, if you sit with an Abapar, show him this algorithm, he'll know what needs to be done. Yeah, so this just one I created myself because I saw that as missing. Okay, and then we need to create a profile. See, in profile we have a limitation. Okay, you cannot have all of them. Yeah, so I'll say F HEU. So one of the more important things that we always call. Okay, see, I want to call reschedule blocks. I want to start with this multi-level order related bottom up, top down, and then split planned order, which we just created, is very important. Another thing is, whenever you see DS_01, it's for DS board. Okay, wherever you see PP is for production planning. So it doesn't make any sense to call PP heuristics here because this is only in the DS board. So I would call DS and block planning also. This one reschedule is in the DS board. Okay, adjust reschedule block limits is also in the DS board. And this, no, this interactive. This we need. This we don't need. I'll tell you why we don't need this in the EDS board. Solve PP. Remove backlog, very important. I want this 3 lots. Did we take reorder point planning? These two I wanted in the to call in the interactive planning. Here it is. Okay, and then I want standard lots. And what I will do is the first one I'll keep standard lots. I'll tell you why I'm putting this as first.
Sanjay, the sequence matter here? I mean, this is why.
No,
Right?
it matters in interactive planning where you go and it always shows the first one. That's why I want the
Okay.
first one to be
Okay, clear. Yeah.
standard lots. Okay, So this one is enough to start with. And now sorting, we don't need. So see, sorting is nothing but if you want to sort what normally we sort, resources, products, and all. We product planning table next week. Now I don't want. The next important thing is detail scheduling. In this one, I need optimization profile. Yeah. So I told you that the optimization profile. See how many they've created. Um, is the standard one. So let's copy this. What I'll do here is that uh, see, I'll copy this, and this is very big. We need at least 30 to 45 minutes to go through all these parameters. Okay. So I'll actually not. In today's session, there's no point because during optimization we have to talk this, and immediately we'll run optimization also. Now I only need to create one optimization profile. Okay. The same way, I need a planning board profile also. That will be here. Planning board profile. Yeah. Um, Planning board profile. The reason why I'm deleting this is because this has every profile will be having multiple charts, and every chart will have all this. See, to delete how long it is taking. So hence, normally in any implementation, there'll be only one or two profiles created because it's again building unnecessarily, content and consuming the space. Yeah. So in our planning board session, I told you that I'll be showing you how to add charts and also colors configuration. Then we'll have to work on this. This session would be almost I think the last session or one session before. We still have time for this. In any implementation, if you go, there'll be two requirements, mainly in planning board. One is the colors for products, and that will be in a product chart. Yeah, and the resource chart, they may ask you to create some order related colors. Very complicated, so we're contradicting. So I have always told planners, I ask them whether you want product colors or order colors. If you have both, system will go for a toss. Okay, so hence make sure that you give them either of this, not both. I'll show you if what's happening. See, you can be seeing that there's a schedule deallocated. There are many uh, profiles that are created. So pretty much is not checked, or in the other one this is check kind of thing. But the fields are all same in. Yeah, copy all the parameters. Okay, so if I go um, right, so if I go to this one, see here charts. So this many charts are there. So if I go to resource chart, um, so there's something called do not display when calling. If I check this, it will not show. So in a standard profile, they would have put resource chart, product chart, orders chart also. Okay, do not display when calling is there. I'm just validating how many charts will open up when I open this. So this will open up. Product chart definitely will open up. I think it could be stock chart, product stock. Yeah, do not display when calling. Okay. So see, graphical objects, and if you select this and if you go to graphical elements, you have set up all these activities, and if you click this, you have a lot of colors. Yeah, setup activity, I want it in green color. Yeah, and my uh, process activity, I want it in red color. All these things can be done. Just because you go and do this, it will not become that. You need to link this to the product, the decision table. It's pretty much complex. Yeah, it's not that straightforward. This is at a profile level. We go and change the colors, but every product I need different color. So how do we link this to product is the challenge. So now I'm only creating a profile. So in this session we'll and also you can say whether it needs to be a line or a rectangle or an icon. All those things you can. It could be a blue line or a blue rectangle and all this. Yeah. So we have only created now, and then strategy profile. See, again it comes. I told you the heuristics and all. See, again maintain heuristic, maintain a heuristic profile. So multiple times it comes. So ignore strategy profiles you have already created. I'm looking, and then time profile. See, time profile is the one which um, I think those who are from DP and S&P, there is something called time bucket profile. Okay, and in S&P plans within that time bucket, and it can be in weeks, in days, in months. So that is time bucket profile. Okay, I'll say next 2 years is what I want. Next 2 years, out of next 2 years, the first 6 months should be in months. Okay, and then next 2 months should be in weeks, and next 2 weeks should be in days. So that is time bucket profile. Yeah, so planning happens within that. In this PPDS, there are two things. One is display period, one is planning period. Okay, when you go to the PPDS planning board, you want to display next 4 weeks of orders. but planning and scheduling should happen only for next 2 weeks. Okay, this is where we define that. Okay, so don't you can say planning period -2 and +2. Okay, -2, why? Because you want to see last 2 weeks of orders also. Why? I see you come to the planner comes to office, opens and sees last week's orders, whether they were executed or not. If it's not executed, he needs to move those orders to current week. So he needs to see at least 1 week of past data. Correct? You can define 10 weeks also, but is it really required? I think 1 week should be enough. So let's keep it as 1. And here you should say it should be relative week. Here also it should be relative week. -2 +1 or +2 -1 -1 week. A display. I would say why you want to, even the display itself is 2 weeks. Or else you can say display I want 2 weeks in the past and 3 weeks into the future. I want to see, but planning should happen only 1 week in the past and 2 weeks in the future. Okay, I know these things will see when you know what the segments are. And hide non-working time I showed you, right? So at the time profile level also you can do. Hide non-working time is nothing but I told you in the Excel that wherever you see non-working times, it will be in gray color. I showed you in the Excel. In the DS board, gray color means it's a non-working day. It could be Saturday, Sunday. It could be after your second shift, third week, your third shift, you're not working. It's a non-working time. If you check this, all the non-working times will be disappeared. You don't see. Don't do it at the profile level. There is a setting directly, interactively, you can hide non-working times. That is best. If you do it in the configuration level, this becomes defaulted. So don't do that. Okay. We have to say F. Okay. Save it. And then we need work area. Standard, where is that? Yeah, so copy. I'll tell you what it is. So you create a work area called this, and then you have to check this. Why you have to check this? Resource, orders, and products. Orders, I don't care. These two should be checked. Why? You'll come to know in a minute. Select this. Work area is nothing but your work area or your area of work. What it should be made up of. Products, machines, orders doesn't make sense because orders keeps changing every day. So the moment you say orders, it lasts for the order number. So if you want to go and see a specific order, yes, you may need, but that doesn't make sense at all. So the work area, SAP has given that option, but your work area should have all the machines and the products. I was telling you there'll be FG planner, SFG planner. So FG planner, there could be many different, like I told you, for cheese, there could be one planner. For different product category, there'll be planners. So in his work area, he'll have all his products and the machines where that get produced. So he can closely monitor, plan, schedule everything. So for that, you need a work area. Resource view. Yeah. So all res means what? Here you have to go to set, and here you have to give either star, which makes a lot of sense, or you can give choose fields exactly like a propagation range. Give resource location. I think that should be enough, right? Why you need other things? You don't need it. So you can say WFC star in location 0003. So this is my work area for resources. Okay. and then product view. Yeah, select this and set it up. Product number, location, maybe production planner, and you have to define the values. In 0003, anything starting with F is yours. Yeah, so this is my work area. Normally what we do is we don't define anything. In real time, I go and define my production plan. I told you the planner for cheese, there'll be one planner. The moment you assign that planner code here, all his products will be selected by itself. But you have to make sure that all the products is assigned with that production planner. Only then it makes sense.
I think you gave the other way around. You gave
Yeah,
location.
Sorry.
the first one will be the location. Yeah.
Uh-huh. So, star. And also note that this is configuration. So what we do in implementations, we'll have that basic production planners will give you the information. So at a high level, you configure and that gets transported until production. But if there is any delta requirements after or when they do pre-production, then they do testing, and then they come up with more selections that can be directly done in production. Say it's always good to have default values in all the system. Say the first 10 to 15 work areas are already transported so that you don't have to create. And delta to that, in the sense there could be some new requirements coming after that, testing and everything. You don't need to actually once again configure. So there's a provision to directly create in respective systems. I'll show you that. Okay. So the last thing that we need is overall profile. Um, it's at a version level. Okay. So what is my DS strategy profile? It's DS PP strategy profile. You have to assign all this to the overall profile, planning board profile, work area which you just created, time profile, yesterday we created the alert. Yeah. We have not created any key figure schema. We don't use it. Okay. So if we do this one and we go back to easy access screen, logistic, um, see, I always keep talking about interactive planning. It's interactive planning. There are many. Okay, so this itself is like I said, one session. Yeah, we have pegging. Only for pegging we have a transaction. This is to see all the alerts and take action. Product planning table next week I'll show you. Very complicated. And then this is for order processing. If you have any maintenance orders or anything, if you want to process that, this is the transaction. This is only for demands. This is only for receipts. This is like MD04. You can see receipts, you can see demand, stock, everything you can see. Okay, right now we are looking for this one, CDPS. And what is our overall profile? If our overall profile or all the profiles that we create are correct, then we'll not have any issues. We can go and see. Let's check. Okay, planning version is 000. The moment I hit enter, everything gets defaulted. See, time profile gets defaulted, work area gets defaulted, all these things, resource plan with the product which we gave, F star, all these things comes up. And then if you click on profiles here, you'll see the resource and product chart is open. The rest are hidden, no display. If you want to see a stock chart, you have the flexibility to change it here. But every time you'll have to come and do it if you have not configured. Okay, so this is planning board profile, DS strategy profile. This is what we have selected, and heuristic profile. That we created shows what are all heuristics are there in your profile, and in this one it'll show you PP strategy profile, time profile, optimization profile, alert profile, propagation range. Okay, so let's get in. Yeah, there are no orders. For some reason it has not picked the resources. Let's see why. W F, that's why. WC star. See, this is the non. Do you see? This is a good time to validate our shifts. See, these are all non-working time. Okay, gray is non-working time. You remember that we created a shift recently on that machine, and if I zoom in, see here, non-working time, night. See, 2 o'clock there is a non-working time. 4:30 there is a lunch time. 6 o'clock we start the shift. 7:40 to 7:30 to 7:40 we have a non-working time. Again 10 to 10:30 we have a non-working time. 12:30 to 12:40 there is a short break. 3:30 to 4 there is 30 minutes break. So whatever we are defined, it's all here. Okay, so this is how break times will look. This is coming from the resource master that we created. Double click it, it will take you to resource master. Okay, and you can go and see what are the shifts that you have defined, what is your capacity variant. From here you can define downtimes also if you want. Yeah, directly from DS board you can come here and define downtimes. Okay, and immediately that will reflect in the. There are many things to learn. DS board is very complicated. See, there are so many options here, so many options here, and at the product level you can do several things. Yeah, and there are so many icons. Everything will actually. I don't think there's anything that will leave. Pretty much we cover every function in the DS board. Okay, see, there are so many things. See the functions, all the heuristic profile that we had created, that that comes up here by default. So directly from DS board we can do interactive scheduling. When I do optimization, uh, the optimization profile, I need to tell Sriram, optimization server not installed. Okay, we need to install optimization server. Uh, and I was talking about strategy. See here, directly we change and schedule orders. So everything is working. But here to come to this, we need to finish all our planning. Yeah. So we need to finish manual with check, manual with check, multi-level planning, CTP, capacity reservation, and then we come to DS. We learn all the functions of DS. Then we introduce setup metrics and see how setup metrics will impact the current schedule. And then we introduce optimization, where we see in the current schedule, when you have a change over time, when you introduce cost, what will be the implication? Yeah, and then only we go to block planning, subcontracting, classification, and everything. Yeah, long way to go. Any questions so far, guys?
I think you forgot to put a split on the split order split heuristic.
On the strategy on the overall
Right,
profile
heuristics.
in the heuristic profile.
Yeah, yeah. I did not notice you putting that.
Let's see. I thought I did. Let's check. Yeah, you're right. Very important. While we are here, let's change the work area also, because we saw that we had given a wrong value there. Sorry, we're talking about work area here. Okay. Any questions, guys? And I have one question. Sriram told me that some of you want leave next week because of Shivaratri. Yeah. Do you still, you guys need it next Saturday? I don't know who asked, but Sriram mentioned that to me. Because full night
It's
they won't have slept.
yes, sir. It's me, Vinod.
Oh, okay.
It's an audience request. If they want to continue the class, I can follow the recording, or else I will take a leave for the next weekend class.
When is that? Is it on Friday night? Is it?
Yes, sir. It's a whole of Friday night in India.
Okay. So which means Saturday it will be difficult to
Yes,
attend.
yes, yes, sir. That's just a request. If, based on the audience request, if they want to continue, I'm okay with it. I will have the session, recorded session, be review in the evening and continue with Sunday class.
I don't know. Shyam told me not just one. He said multiple. I don't know who all requested. If it
Okay.
is one, I normally don't stop. I'll tell multiple. Then I thought Saturday will take off so that you guys get ready with all the configurations, everything. And Sunday we can start with defining the product planning table, everything, and do some initial planning on Sunday. Um, yeah, that's what I thought. So what we'll do is Saturday, let's take a break. I don't think there'll be any more breaks until we finish the course, unless I get stuck with something or unexpected things happen, or else normally I don't take a break. So we'll have Saturday off. Sunday we'll get into product planning table and do our initial single level, multi-level planning. I'll plan to prepare some data next Saturday in this time in ECC and APO so that we can see sales order based planning. Yeah, automatic sales order based planning. That's a good thing to see on Sunday. Okay.
Okay,
Sanjay,
sir.
one
Thank
question.
you.
Sorry, for our own practice, this configuration, can we create our own, or just we'll wait until we will finish all the planning
No, create
examples?
your own. Absolutely no problem.
Okay.
Don't, like I
Okay.
said, never use
Change
the
the standard.
standard. Use the standard,
Okay.
I have no problem, but don't do changes in the standard
Okay.
because
Okay.
we have multiple times reinstalled. The standard is disturbed, things doesn't work, and we don't know what is changed. That's why create your own objects.
Okay.
Okay, cool then. Someone said any other questions?
So this is Raja Ravi. I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
So when you were creating a DS strategy profile, I think I think there was an area where you can you said you can sort by setup group and setup key. So is that a viable request? Like, why would somebody ask? Why would some business user ask to sort by setup group, setup key? Because I know they are only just text, right? They're just descriptions of the key. So it
No,
will
no, no,
just sort in alphabetical order, right?
no, no, no. So it is viable. I've used it in all the places that I have implemented. Setup groups are created. We created like 501 underscore 1 or 500 underscore 1 underscore 2 underscore 3 like that. Or we create like
Okay.
501, 502, 503. So if you have
That
5
makes
products, that 5 setup groups will be sequential.
true. Okay.
So based on that, it will sequence your
Okay.
orders.
Yes, that did not strike my mind. Yes, we can use that numeric.
Numeric you have to use. If you just give a name, then you cannot.
Right. Yeah, because
So that
that
whatever,
Coca-Cola we had given names and I was in that world. Sort of.
no, don't give. If what that name to know what it is, that you should give it as a description only to understand what it. But setup group is always a number. Yeah, it's a
Yes.
numeric. Okay, so you can have. I normally use underscore 1 underscore 2. Maybe say I told you say a category milk category. I use one group all related to milk, like fresh milk. There is raw milk or flavored milk. We can give one group, and you can say underscore 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for different category of milk. And then within raw milk, if you have different types sizes like liter, 1 liter, 500 ml, then you can start using keys.
Yes, makes sense.
So many ways to actually.
Yeah, we can use the free attributes. I think at one of the client we created a PPDS sequence number as a free attribute and we gave numeric numbers and we
Where is
sorted
that free
based on that.
attribute in the product master?
In the extras, yeah, and
No,
the
I
product
told you
master and the
yesterday that's
extras.
gone in S4 HANA. You cannot do it.
True, right, that is one. True.
Yeah, that
I
is the
heard that
challenge.
too.
Even
Yes.
I'm thinking how to teach you guys colors. Now that is the field that I use for colors, or else I don't have any reference. How do I link my product to the configuration? There should be one field, right, where I should say brown. So how does the config objects know that this product should be in brown color? I create a field and I'll say that field as brown, because that product should be shown as brown, and I link that in the planning board profile. But now I cannot do it because that's not allowed. So that's a challenge I have now. Okay. Anyway, so let's catch up next Sunday and do something useful. Okay.
Sure.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.